What we need is a happy return to sanity. And I suppose if I'm going to say something like that, I shouldn't rock the camera too much. First of all, I think Canada has now exceeded itself as a people in absolute insanity. And this is after 52 years of honest, interpretive, loving investigation, patience, and a realization that Canadians must have the greatest sense of humor in history to be able to tolerate the idiocy of our times. Here's a golden opportunity for Canadians to, let's think of a simple plan. Let's say here we are in January, end of January 2012, and a lot of people think, oh, it's all going to end, the end of the world. Well, sorry, not for me, but there's that school of thinking out there. So let's say then that collectively as a people, one of you, or maybe one of you, maybe not one of you, but anyway, people who would like to see a certain amount of liberation before they exit the scene, then maybe May the 1st of this year, or something like a general strike. That'll freak them out up there, make them begin to listen to what the Commons are saying to them. Would begin on May the 1st, a summer of love, a summer of, as my friend Mark Boyer, I shall refer to frequently, because I've certainly adopted his covenant, the concept of the covenant, a new covenant among people, and that is that we are upholding creation, that we're caretakers on the planet, we're here because we love the grand order divine, or God. We're willing to embrace harmonious and peaceful relationships and encourage them between all people, but recognize that there has been evil done for the purpose of bringing about good. Well, now our purpose is to bring about the good, and there used to be something about do-gooders. Well, I think harmlessness is one thing, but to try and do a bit of good, one has to dig deep philosophically and ensure that there's a degree of cognitive, or a lack of cognitive dissonance, I think is the word. So we've got to get around to the idea that there is something we can call common sense. And let's say, for argument's sake, that we decided then as a people to start Mayday and then just slowly move away from work that we felt was truly unnecessary. So let's say then that you have a one-day strike on Saturday, okay? And everything just closes down on the first day of the strike, right? And then you see what develops. The next day is Sunday. Well, then maybe we should have a day of consecrating all our efforts towards enlightenment, that we as a people now, not a nation, many nations, all nations perhaps, say, yeah, we want a covenant now. We want to create an aura of peace, and to do that we have to slow down. And so, unless this is like vital transportation, there'd be minimal transportation. People will be warned in lots of time. Don't bother, coming to Vancouver or across Canada. The 1st of May. 2012, because there will be very little transportation. Because if it's necessary, of course there'll be transportation. There'll be, whatever it takes. But at the same time, people have to begin to recognize that we're going into a mode of survivalist people. People that recognize that we need to, what shall I say, prepare for a great opening of collective consciousness when we recognize that primarily we're people. We're all people in the same soup, and that we've been sold a bill of goods by a lot of people who've been taking advantage of people's, dare I say, innocence, because that's the way I see it. That people have been duped for a very long time, and that duping now is over, in a sense. The cat is out of the bag. People realize now that money has been a fraud and always has been a fraud, and that there's something much more profound that has to replace that fraud. And that is essential truth. That is essential respect for one another. That is essential return to probity. That we're listening to our consciousness. We're not lying. We're not cheating. We're not dirty tricking people. That we found a new harmony and a new peace as crew on a spaceship. That has woken up to our responsibilities to be caretakers on this planet, to uphold creation. And to see that creation is before us as children stricken with hunger. To what ends? To what reason? Where can this be? Who are these? What monsters are maintaining this evil? How can this not be resolved? How do we deal with the money thing? Okay, well, let's assume people are used to using money, and that to change the system, we have to get control of the government. The only way I see, if we're back to none of the above again. Okay, well, that's the essential strategic long term, not that so long term actually. And the petition matter, I haven't had a chance to address myself formally to the Governor General on that matter, but that is something I really intend to do, because I handed out, I think, 600 of those printed forms, and anybody who should hear my voice and follow this, I would appreciate if they have sent them in and not heard a reply, or if they have sent them in, and better yet, have had a reply, then it would save me doing anything. And I am essentially a person who, being a systems analyst, I try to find the simplest way to get things done, and only time will tell. And I think we all are, actually, if we, really get into it. But I'm not really into it. I'm just a common guy trying to figure out what's going on around here. But the more I find out what is going on around here, I know we got to find change. We got to do change things, folks. Nice things, though. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna. No one will be disturbed with this. This is what you call a bloodless coup, because eventually we'll have to make a little chat to the Governor General and say, Your Honor, Holiness, whatever they are, excuse me, Excellency. Yeah, he's an Excellency. Your Excellency, leaving the past in the dark history that exists, moving forward into the new age, can I propose that the current cabinet addresses the option of negotiations with people in a clear way that can establish what the needs of the people properly are, and that Mr. Harper and his rather deaf cabinet finally get the word that they have a matter on their hands which affects peace, order, and good management of collective affairs. And that is something that needs to be hastily addressed. And I think the best way to address that is perhaps for, some demands to begin to be made for the purposes of negotiation. And clearly that means first on the list are not a chance of the Enbridge pipeline, not a chance of the tar sands going on. All of these are ancient and wrongful directions, and they simply won't be tolerated. That's on an environmental level. That's initially. Now, then further to that, as being primary demand, non-negotiable, really. In fact, none of these are really negotiable in any conventional sense of the word. They're simply truths that need to be addressed. The second one is that we absolutely require honourable settlement with the Aboriginal people right across this country. And again, the conditions and elements of that are really very straightforward. There is a fundamental respect that the ultimate title cannot be taken away from anybody by force of arms, and that any effort to do that means that the country has been colonised under duress, and that none of the people therefore should properly be in any way, shape or form treated with anything less than the deepest respect, and that was lost. Anyway, by returning to that concept of the commonwealth that it pre-existed here, that was shared willingly before the dirty tricks and blue meanness and the sellers of alcohol and all the other corruptions that were put in man's way on this beautiful new continent that got in the way of a righteous life here, where people lived harmoniously, happily, cooperatively, and did not need the necessity of transferring bills of lading and God knows what else to establish a conscience and relationship which is established long before anyone ever invented money, which has been buried by this fraudulent mystique of money. Anyway, with universal family credit, which would follow the proper establishment of a caretaker government in British Columbia, then there could be, as Mr. William Bennett originally intended, a proper bank of British Columbia, and the proper Bank of British Columbia had the authority to print and distribute internally in the province of British Columbia fluid ways of achieving a new quality of transfer of goods and services. In any event, I'm going to stop right there.